Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of the Yogi Show. My name is Pedro Luna. This week on the show, my co-host Yogi Bryan and I have an amazing and inspiring conversation on tap for you with world-renowned DJ and music producer Soul Rising. With over 10 million Spotify streams in 2019 alone, I'm sure you've heard his music in your yoga class somewhere. And now you get to hear all about his amazing journey from being brought up in Fairfield, Iowa, and meditating at the age of 4 to his journey through hip-hop, turntables, and accounting, and now elevating the vibration of the world with his original soundscapes that evoke feelings of inspiration and bliss through various styles of music. He is sure to inspire you to follow your dreams with his amazing story. So buckle up, my friends. This episode is Fuego. Órale! Welcome to the show, Mr. Brandon. We call you Soul Rising, DJ Squint. Like, what do you go by these days, man? What's up? How are you? Thanks for coming to the show.
Soul Rising is good.
Thank you for being here, man. We appreciate you so much, man.
I feel honored to be here. So
yeah, we're so stoked, man. It's gonna be so fun. Brian, what's up, man, in Arizona?
What is up, Brandon? What's up, Pedro? Brandon, thanks so much for coming on the show. Soul Rising in the house.
Brian, man, bro. Yeah, right.
Let's do this.
In the mix. So yeah. I just taught a class. I just came from class and I was playing your Chill Flow yoga mix. I love that one, man. I love that one. And it was amazing. Like just like being in the vibes and the vibrations of the music, all the things that you're creating are amazing. And I just want to thank you for doing what you do, adding value to the yoga community with what, with your passion and your talent. It's superb, man. Love it so much.
For sure, man. Thank you for sharing my music.
Yeah,
I definitely appreciate that.
People love it, man. People love it.
Yeah. People do, man. I feel it when I put that music on. Like I feel it.
Yeah.
I'm not just hearing. You're not just hearing Soul Rising. You're feeling Soul
it.
Rising.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man. And I know you were introduced to this yoga and mindfulness and all this stuff and meditation, like way before it was trendy, way before it was cool back in the day as a young child, you know. And we love to start off the show with taking us on the journey, kind of how you got to being Soul Rising or being this version of Soul Rising. But what was that like growing up in that state of mind and that with awareness when there wasn't many people doing it back then. Your age, I assume. You were the only one doing it.
Well, what happened was when I was 4 years old, my mom learned transcendental meditation. So when you're young, they give you this walking mantra or whatever, and you just play with your toys or whatever, and you repeat this mantra. I would always say I forgot it because I didn't feel like doing it, but I was exposed to that. I was born in Vancouver, but when I was 7, we moved to Iowa, to Fairfield, Iowa, where they actually have a school, Transcendental Meditation School, K through 12 plus a university. So when I was there, I was surrounded by that stuff. Our foreign language was Sanskrit. We learned Vedic math. We didn't learn normal math. Ooh. We learned Vedic math. So I don't even know how to do regular math. We did asanas before meditation. We'd meditate twice a day. I played basketball. We'd do sun salutes before practice. I was kind of in that. So it didn't feel weird because I was just surrounded by that. I will say I moved away for 2 years in middle school, and then it felt weird. I moved back to Vancouver and then moved to Washington. And that was I just basically hid it from my friends because it was weird. It wasn't a trendy thing. There wasn't, I don't think there was yoga studios and stuff everywhere like there is now.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of just kept that to myself. But then I moved back, to Iowa, and then again, I was surrounded by that. So
man, in Iowa of all places, I'm from the Midwest, but
it's
Iowa.
Random. Yeah, super random. I guess the founder bought an old university there, so that's kind of how we ended up there. All our parents were. My mom was not so much, but a bunch of hippie parents from the coast, and then we all went to Iowa and, farmland and all of that. So it was an interesting mix.
That's amazing. I've never been so jealous of someone's childhood. Like you got to do sun salutations like before your basketball. Like I love that. I would just be doing sun salutations. I just pictured you when you moved and like you were out of your comfort zone. Like you had to go like sneak in some sun A's and sun B's like in the back. Like, hey bros, I got to go do something real quick.
BRB.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Wow, that's awesome.
Man.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. But what a difference, like Vancouver, Iowa, super different. And you're in California now, obviously.
Yeah.
You're in Cali, right?
Yeah, I'm in Cali. I'm in LA. Vancouver, super multicultural, Iowa, not multicultural.
No, Iowa.
I think I was like one of the only Asian kids in the school.
Cornfields, man.
Yeah,
and cold.
exactly. So it was quite a culture shock. But small town, like it was a good place to grow up. I can't complain. So.
Now, was music always so obviously you're an amazing DJ, musician, producer. Was like music your creative outlet growing up? Was that your thing?
I mean, my first love was basketball and sports. Like I played
sun salutations and basketball.
Exactly. Like Little League, hoops, Michael Jordan, that whole thing. I think like when I moved to Vancouver around 6th grade, I started to get interested in music. Actually, like the first time I really heard a lot of music was like there's a picture of me with headphones and like a boombox. My mom, she would play music before I went to bed, and it would always be like Kenny G or like smooth jazz or whatever. And I remember like hearing the Beach Boys on the school bus, like. But I always loved music. And then in 6th grade, I got more into it. Like everyone in Vancouver was into like Nirvana, Green Day, Offspring. It was all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I started. And then I got Dr. Dre's The Chronic.
Boom. Changed.
And then it was like Snoop Dogg. and then I heard this tape by this guy Vin Rock, and it was all like old school hip hop. And like I was just blown away. Like I was like Tribe Called Quest, all of those golden age artists. And so I fell in love with hip hop, and that was kind of my foundation. So that's kind of where I started.
That's where you started from, man.
Great foundation.
Sure.
What a foundation to have,
Yeah.
So now obviously you weren't a little bit about your story, and so tell us about how you made that transition, because it's so inspiring to hear about, like, you're on a path to do corporate America, and then you decide like, man, this shit is not for me. And I think everyone kind of has that in them. I know I have that story, but like, what was it like for you to make that shift from this is like the path I'm on, and like it just doesn't feel right, into like pursuing your dreams and following your dreams? Because everyone loves a good story, and I know yours is amazing.
For sure. I'll just go through like my musical history. So I spoke a little bit about how I got into music. When I was, I think 13 or 14, my friend knew I loved hip hop, and he was talking about like getting turntables, and I was like, oh wow, turntables. So I used to go to his house, and we'd like scratch his like mom's record player, So I thought of DJing as scratching. I don't know why, but like that's what I thought DJing was. So I got these DMC tapes, and before I learned to mix or anything, I learned to scratch and use turntables as a musical instrument. And so I used to compete all across the country, and went to some big national battles and stuff like that. But I never thought of music as a profession. I always felt like this is something I love to do, but it's not like, it's not the safe route or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a hobby or whatever. And like I had some success and stuff, but I never saw like money, from it. And then when I went to college, I studied accounting. Because that was the highest paying business major. So I was like, I didn't actually want to do it,
Sanskrit accounting. Was it Sanskrit accounting?
No. Yeah, right.
How'd you do the math though? You said you didn't learn math at school.
This asana minus this asana is,
Yeah, that was like calculator time, so didn't have to use those superpowers.
Superpower.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man, it's in the Vedas. So So I went through that. And then after, I met like my teacher, and she said, "You're not an accountant or whatever. Come to India." Okay. So I went to India, and it was supposed to be like a month. And then I ended up like staying in an ashram for 2 years in India and the US. So I never actually started doing accounting, and there was this, my cat's like knocking on the door. Of course.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, special guest.
Special guest.
Soul Rise's cat.
Yeah, exactly.
He's about to mix this shit up.
Yeah.
Like shit, this is the real genius behind what's going on.
Yeah, man. Cat dad representing for the cat dudes.
Let's go.
So where was I?
Your
cat
teacher,
scratching.
yeah, ashram.
Yeah, ashram, and then I did a workshop, and it was like a meditation retreat, and I was DJing like the end, and there was just like a dance party. There was like 1,000 people in Australia, and
Dude,
she looked at me and she was like, "We didn't really have to meditate this whole weekend. Like all the work is happening here, like on this dance floor. Like everyone's like, they're not in their heads, they're releasing, like all that." And I was like, "Whoa, duh! Like I'm supposed to do this. Like,
yeah.
like this is what I love to do. One, I love music, and two, like this can change people's lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like I actually didn't come into this through the yoga route. It was more like the ecstatic dance or dance route. And yeah, so then I started my journey, went to school in San Francisco, and studied music. And so I learned like to play music, but also how to engineer and also how to produce music. So I spent a year doing that, and then yeah, kind of went from there. So
That's awesome, man.
That's all. Yeah.
What a cool story,
Awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
Went there for a month and stayed for 2 years.
Yeah.
On the ashram.
Yeah.
Quite different.
Very, very different.
Yeah, that's a spiritual journey, right?
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
And then now you're here. And then so turntables. So take us through what that's like. Like, do you still I don't hear any of that in the music that you're making now. You still do that on the side for fun? Is that like still a thing you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I used to I still love it. I still love using them as musical instruments, but it's honestly like if I'm at a party or whatever, or playing an event, like some people think it's cool, but most people aren't paying attention. So I don't really do it too much, and everything's all digital now. But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like it's a great foundation because I mean, I used to use a stopwatch to count like BPMs, like you count the beats, like there's no like Serato and all of that. So it was all totally analog, and then you'd use needles and put stickers on it so you could get to certain parts of the record. And it was a lot harder back then. Like now people, they start DJing and they're a DJ in like a month, and I'm like, that's cool. But like it was a lot harder back then.
Back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, hold on. I just thought of something. Yogi Bryan, about a here he goes. So Yogi Bryan's had a little music career, and he used to be a rapper, and then he was going to be a DJ. Brian, do you remember you were going to be a DJ like 8 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, I still have the equipment. We'll just say that.
I just thought about that right now, man.
Yeah, man.
No, I just went to I did a poolside class, or it was like an event. I did an event, and the DJ there, he was a great DJ. But like he just didn't understand like yoga. Right. And like he was there and he had all his music, and I was just like going up to him like, this is like we're warming up here, like just needs to be chiller. Like, because normally when I have my playlist, like I'm going back and forth, and I'm like skipping songs, and I'm like turning it low and turning it high. So like I kind of know like the yoga vibe. And it was just tough having a DJ that didn't really know the whole yoga flow from that whole hour class. So that's why I was like, I'm going to get some equipment, and I feel like I could throw some stuff together, at least the tempo and like the vibe and whatever. But yeah, I still need to get speakers.
Nice.
I have a Tractor S2 just sitting like in my freaking who needs that?
Yeah, right.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
That's me though. Like I'm all like fast starter. I'll get all the equipment, and then
man. I'm so glad that Brandon said that that you could be a DJ in a month. It just triggered that thought.
Yeah. It's much easier now. So
yeah.
Definitely.
So easier now, Brandon. And tell us about the switch. You know, you went from turntables to like, let's call it yoga music. Or what? How do you categorize your music nowadays? Like, how do you categorize yourself if you put yourself in a category?
So, yeah, I would call it yoga music, but like, it's not really yoga music. It's just like chill electronic music.
Yeah.
That I promote to the yoga audience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to be like, I mean, I kind of am, I guess, but I don't want to be pigeonholed and like into a certain category because, you know, my dream is to play like big festival stages and rock big events. Like that's kind of what's calling to me the most, you know? But the yoga field is also a great place to be because it's just such a positive environment. And, you know, like classes are in the morning or afternoon. You don't have to be up till 5 in the morning. And you know, it's just a great energy to be around. So
yeah, such a great energy. And when you were saying, when you finally like knew your true calling, when you were there, you're playing music and your teacher said like, hey, this is the meditation right here. It is so true that this is the meditation. Like when I listen to your music, when I play it in class, like, yeah, right now yoga's popular, but it's like mindfulness and meditation and just like that self-study is getting more and more popular. So, I mean, as like that gets more popular and just takes traction, like your music's going to take traction as well. You might, you know, it's like, it's such an important, like to feel the music, especially in like yoga class or meditation and like your music, DJ Taz, Rashid's music, like DJ Drez. It's just that like it just really, I can feel it, you know, when I'm just like getting in that mindfulness, like almost that trance, like flow state. And it's like, cool. I can just let the poses take me. I can go with the flow.
That's great, man. That's the purpose of it, you know, to affect change and transformation. And yeah, it's great to hear. So I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. 100%. What I remember, so I was telling in the beginning of the show, I played your playlist tonight in my class. And now that I've listened to your music for a couple of years now, you know, when you're talking as a teacher and you're saying some words and then all of a sudden you know that 4x4 beat is about to kick in, you can just pause, you can just stop talking and then the beat takes them on a ride, you know? Like that's the best part. That's the best part is it just makes sense. You know, you don't have to think about it. Like I'm not, you know, Rihanna's work, isn't it on in the background? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like we're listening to something that makes actual sense here, people. You know, and like so many people just love your music. Teachers love your music. The students play all that. But what goes into like making a track for you, like something that, you know, like that you're going to put on for, you know, like on a record, like what goes into it? Like, how does that work?
Honestly, like the way that I sort of cater myself, I get inspired by it. Like, I don't feel like it's all mine. Like I get inspired by a lot of different artists. Like I listen to a lot of music.
Give us one that you love.
Like Odessa, you know.
Oh yeah. Love Odessa.
There's some of like the more chill, like the guys with the guitars and stuff, like Headed Biscuit. I'm probably butchering his name. Or like Shallow or Kids Waste. There's artists like that. They kind of have that more like chill guitar vibe. Bonobo, Tycho. So I get inspired by a lot of music, I think, and then I kind of, it's like you take. There's that book like Steal Like an Artist, you know what I'm talking about?
That's one of my favorite quotes, man.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is it Picasso or is like, my wife's laughing downstairs because I say it all the fucking time. Stop laughing. It's like, good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Yeah,
it's like they make it their own. Like they make that style like such their own that people or like that person invented this style, and it's like, no, it's
totally, man. So it's like I take from, I never like blatantly copy it, but I take different elements of different music and I kind of put them together and it creates something else. So that's kind of how that's how I get inspiration. And I don't know, man, I just love making music. So like it doesn't feel like work to me. Like
That's
people are like,
awesome.
you work so hard or whatever. I think Taz is the only person that I know that puts out more music than me.
Yeah, it's putting music out every hour. He's putting out an album right now.
That guy's prolific, man. Like, you gotta learn from him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just always like, I'm always wanting to work on music. So it's like, I'm just always creating. Like there's, and when people start to listen, it becomes really fun because I'm like, wow, I can actually create something and people are actually going to listen to it. That definitely wasn't the case for like 10 years or something. It took a while.
Took a while. Patience.
Yeah.
And like
patience.
That's
Thank
what it
you for the
is. It's like
message.
patience.
Yeah,
Patience.
for sure.
And you never know like where I was thinking today before we got on this call and this recording that I would have never thought that yoga, like a yoga music or a yoga niche almost, would be something in the future. Like back in 2010, 2012, I would have never thought like I would personally be listening to like a yoga type music or a meditation type music, category. So it's just crazy how like you never know where things are going to take you. And if you follow your passion, like my son loves to draw and like, I'm like, do it. Like, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, technology or the next trend. Like you can do your passion no matter what.
For sure.
Yeah. Go do it, man.
For sure.
Go do
Get
it.
Get
it.
Okay. I got a question for you. You said you get inspired by these artists, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I hear Float, I always think of DJ Snake. You Know You Like It. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask you, was there any inspiration behind Float with DJ Snake's You Know You Like It?
No.
Oh man. I've been wanting to ask you that like way before I ever thought I would get to talk to you on a call.
Hilarious,
I've like a year and a half.
Yeah. I love that song, but I don't see the correlation.
There probably isn't one. It's probably just me.
Yeah. There probably are elements there, but
all right, so next time you play Float in one of your classes, just think of this call like, man, that guy's stupid. You don't know what he's talking about.
But I honestly, like, I don't remember how I made that track.
Really?
That's the thing too. Like, yeah, there's a lot of tracks I look back and I'm like, how did I make that? I don't know. Like I couldn't do it again.
Right. You were just in the flow. Like,
yeah.
Right. You're in the flow state. You're just literally
flow
state, man.
Totally.
Wow.
I literally have I'm like, damn, that's kind of cool. Like, I don't know how I did that. Why I did that. I don't know. No idea.
Flow state. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Sure,
so I wanted to kick it back to you talking about festivals because that's your dream is to do big events. And we got off that for a second. Let's go back there. So I know you've done a bunch of festivals. Lightning in a Bottle. You did Lightning in a Bottle, or did I just make that up?
Yeah, I've done Lightning in a Bottle.
Lightning in a Bottle, Burning Man, obviously a bunch of the Wanderlust circuit, that kind of thing. Like, what was your favorite, and then what are you aspiring to get to? Like, what's your dream?
I mean, they all had their strengths, but I would say like, well, just going back to like, I don't know if I really talked about how like I really got into yoga music, but like,
take us down the hole, man. Take us.
Yeah. So let's see. I think it was like I went to school in San Francisco. Then I started playing this thing called ecstatic dance, which is like, no drugs, alcohol, and just dance floor. And it was really fun and moving a lot of energy. And so that's kind of my introduction into like wellness music or whatever, meditative music. And I don't know the order of everything, but one of the things that happened was I played an event downstairs at the like San Francisco Asian Art Museum. It's this beautiful museum. I think that's what it was. And MC Yogi and Drez were upstairs. And after like, I said what's up to him, and I gave him a CD, which was like really terrible. It was like my first CD. I won't say it was terrible, but it wasn't great. And he probably looked at it and like was like, who's this guy? But like a few months later, you never know, right? A few months later, his wife looked me up and hit me up and was like, MC Yogi needs a DJ. I think they like searched me and saw that I was like, turntablist and hip hop, and then obviously into, these type of events. And he needed somebody to alternate with Drez because, Drez couldn't do everything. And so I started playing shows with him. And then as part of it, like a lot of these events would have yoga classes. So he'd ask me to play for them. Actually, rewind that. I think the first yoga class I played was actually at a Wanderlust, and it was through Craig Colan. He brought me in and had me play a class, and I think it was for like Skylar, who's like one of the founders.
Yeah, she's the founder.
Yeah, and I had no clue what I was doing. I was just like an ecstatic, and to me it was like, oh, I'm gonna show how dope I am, right? So I'm like there, I'm just like bumping these crazy beats, and like it was like probably terrible, like awful. Like I had no idea like what I was doing. So that was my first, and it was like a big ass room, like there's like hundreds of people in there, like, you know. I really had no idea what I was doing.
Dude, dropping it like it's hot in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just trying to play cool shit that, you know, people would dance to or whatever.
I'm dying.
So it was bad, man. I had no clue what I was doing. But anyway, you know, through MC Yogi, I started playing yoga classes. He got me into the Wanderlust circuit. So I started playing like, you know, more regularly at Wanderlust. So that's kind of how I really got into that. And then I used to play at the studio with my friend Christy Christensen in LA. It's called Exhale. A lot of the big teachers, Sean Corner, Shiva Ray, all of them, they used to teach there. And I got this really good feedback because I was really bad at first. I'm not going to lie. And somebody was like, okay, so you want to make it, there's something like you want to play and you want to make it seem like you're not even there. And the way it was meant was like, I'm not there to be a distraction. I'm there to like uplift the practice and just like people can just flow with it. And it's not about me trying to stand out. And like, that was like some of the best advice that I got, you know. It's not about being invisible or whatever, but you know, you get the idea. It's like, you're trying to create an experience, but it's not about like me. It's about, you know, the synergy with the teacher and the class and really reading the energy. So I kind of, you know, through that learned to refine it. And then I started going to more yoga classes and kind of just seeing what works and doesn't. But I feel like where my career really, so at that time I was still holding on to being like this big EDM guy or whatever, right? And I was just putting out random shit like all over the place, right? And a lot of it was not very good. It was just like
still not good.
Know,
come
like
on,
dance music or whatever, but it wasn't really that great for dancing, and it was just kind of all over the place. And then I was like playing these Wanderlust events, and there'd be like 3,000 people. I was like, dude, you need to make some music for these people because like there's an opportunity here. And so I kind of did it like, all right, I'll just try like one album like that, you know, but it's not like going to be my bread and butter, but like I'll just do it and I'll call it the Chill Out Sessions. So that's the album that Float was on. So I intentionally just made that album like chill it, you know, chill as possible. And then that's when like it wasn't like huge, but like that's when people started to kind of like, I saw some momentum there, like, oh, people are starting to listen to the music. And it was through playing Wanderlust, and I was able to promote at these events and stuff. And then from there I was just like, I'm gonna just keep riding this wave because this makes sense, you know. And then I just really kind of narrowed, you know, my brand into that yoga music. But as I said, chill electronic for yoga, but you know, people that don't do yoga also like to listen to it as well. So that's kind of, you know, it's kind of where I'm like, I wanted to make it kind of more of a modern version, you know? So anyway.
I love these realizations that you had too, you know, with your story. It's like when you, and it's almost just, you know, self-study, when you came to that point where you're like, oh shit, I'm going to make music for them. Like that's right out in front of me. Because I feel like all of us all throughout life, we're like, we feel like this is how I want it, right? Like I want it a certain way. Like I want it this way. I want to go and do these big shows or whatever, like EDM. But it's like you were there, you saw these 3,000 people and they're there listening to you DJ music and you're like, what can I make them? And like, it's always like, even for me too, when I write memes, I know Pedro's like this too. It's like, how can I send a message to the people here, right now, that are like reading the memes? It's like, and then once I got out of myself, then it's like, that's when the universe works its things. So awesome story.
For sure.
Love that
Absolutely.
story, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What do you think? So when you did the first Wanderlust DJ with Skylar and you you did your thing up there, were you turntabling? Were you DJ Squint at that time, or you were already Soul Rising?
That I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah, I'm curious, man.
Yeah, I forget.
Can someone find a video for us on the first?
I don't think so.
Please, if anybody's out there listening, you have a video of that, send it to us.
Please send it to us
for a throwback Thursday.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't remember. I know that I know that the Soul Rising came before I put out my first album.
Before the Chill Out sessions. Yeah.
It was actually I Am Soul. It was like the album I gave to MC Yogi. He probably was like, what is this? Yeah. And that was just through like some of my peer group. Like one of the guys was just like, so when are you gonna change your name? And I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, man, it doesn't really like fit you. And I was like, oh, like I think you're right. And there's a group of us and we started brainstorming and someone threw out the word soul, SOL, sun. And I had just done an event called Spirit Rising. And so it just kind of clicked. I was like, I'm going to take out the spirit part and put Soul Rising, put that together.
Sweet.
That's kind of where that birthed that name. So
that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Good story, man. I like that a lot. I like that, man. I do wish I was at that class though. But
I mean, she was really nice about it. Like, I don't know, like she didn't say anything, but
right.
I know it wasn't good. So
have you seen that Saturday Night Live skit where it's like they're dropping the bass and like he's making it so he hasn't dropped the bass yet? Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I just picture you like at that Wanderlust.
The David Guetta one when he's all fucked up on drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. It's amazing, man.
That's funny.
So
everybody's got to start somewhere, and that's inspiring to anyone out there. If you're learning or if you're starting to DJ, you got your shit in your closet right now, like me, and you're starting to DJ. Like you start somewhere. Everybody,
whatever. Nobody's good at the beginning. I mean, some people might be, but I certainly wasn't.
Nah, Brian and I talk about that with this show, where it's like, we're on like episode like 25 or whatever. Like we suck. Like no one's even listening anyway. So like, and then I'm like in my bedroom, like Brian, like we should give ourselves some credit here. Like we're really trying. And he's like, bro, just keep putting out content. Like it's gonna work out. Just keep putting out content. And it's just right. It's like it's right. It's just like just keep doing your thing, doing it for the right reasons, and it's all gonna work out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and obviously, so take me back to that question about like, where do you want to play? Now that you are Soul Rising, you're crushing it, you're doing all the things that you're doing. Where do you want to go? Like, where do you want to play? What's the stage?
I mean, I always wanted to play Red Rocks. That just seemed like a really cool venue to play, it's something like that, or some of the bigger festivals. I just think like, why not dream big, right?
Huge. Yeah, do it, man.
Like somebody's doing it, so it's possible,
Yeah, dream big.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it
for sure. Like I think that's also what I learned too. Like, there's these things that I thought would like make me happy. Like, oh, if I get that many listeners on Spotify, I'll be happy. But then like you get there and you're like, oh, I want more. So it's like.
The carrot just keeps dangling.
I just don't think like you can ever get to a point where like, oh, I'm satisfied. It's like, it's cliche, but like enjoy the journey and like appreciate like where you are,
Yes.
Like really got to appreciate it. Like I'm making a living from music. Like that's not easy. Like a lot of people want to do that. And like, I'm really blessed, and it also took 10 years to get to this point.
Yeah.
So,
people don't even know that. They just think you're just,
they think it happened quickly. I've actually had people post like, oh man, it just seems like you just skyrocketed so quickly. I'm like, you didn't see the 10 plus years, like DJing since I was 16, so yeah, it takes time. And I think like, it's part of it is just perseverance and you just got to keep going,
Going, man. Just keep putting out content.
For sure. Like your podcast, man, it's going to be blowing up soon.
There we
blowing
go.
up soon.
blowing up now that you're on it, man.
I mean, when you're at the Red Rocks, like, I need tickets, bro.
Yeah,
like, seriously.
Please.
You like, remember you were on the Yogi Show like in 2019?
Hey, it's us.
Now
it's us.
Like, send me that flying Uber, like over there. What's going on?
The flying Uber.
Yeah.
For sure. So that Red Rocks takes me to a question that I had that I wanted to ask you about Adrienne Mishler, because she did Red Rocks and she did like a she sold it out, her doing her gig there, and I know you did a gig with her and on her Chakra series. How did that come? All of our listeners, anytime we're like, hey, who should we ask to get on the show? It's like 1,000 people write yoga with Adrienne, and then like, that's it. Like nobody else writes anything else, like who, what was it like working with her? Like, in her business, what she's doing, like, what was it like?
Well, I mean, the real way that I worked with her was, I think it was through Wanderlust, actually.
Oh, okay.
We did some classes together, and she was just really like super cool, super down to earth. Like she's like really big,
Yeah.
So like for real, like huge, and she was just super like cool, chill, down to earth. We had some, really good classes, and she just wanted to use my music for her, online series, and I really didn't do much. I just kind of sent her my catalog and they kind of put it together. So
okay.
Yeah, not a huge story there, but
it's all good, man. It's just anytime. It's good though. But it's like you being in the right. It's like being in the right place at the right time. Like being in the mix, DJing for a class or whatever, and like that just comes down to like the timing of the universe is perfect, and just be willing and open to like all of the amazing shit that's coming our way and getting out of our own way. That's it.
Totally.
Yeah, getting out of our own way. That's like a great. Just a great story. How I'm thinking of it, it's like, getting out of your own way. It's like you never know what the universe is preparing for you, and you just got to keep trucking along. And I heard it today that like when you're on your progression, you're on your journey, like sometimes you take like 5 steps forward, sometimes you take like 20 steps back, like it's not just 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's like 20 steps back. And you got to like fucking get the dirt off you and just keep pushing, keep going. And maybe you need to change your like perspective or change, like drop the ego sometimes and be like, okay, I need to make music for like these fucking 3,000 people, or I need to make memes for these people right in front of me, Yeah.
For sure, man.
Less egos, more amigos. That's what I like to say right there.
For sure.
I just went wild card Yogi Brian right there, people.
And you came through.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, so fun. Brandon, this has been really fun, man. I'm really glad that we were able to take this time to do this thing, man. I want to ask you, so when you're doing these festivals, doing these stages, connecting with these crowds and these people, can you give us a cool story about like an energy high in a packed class, or something that you've done that's like really like touched you in a moment?
I mean, there's just so many, like I would say, that first experience playing for that dance floor that got me into, doing music full time, like that one really sticks in my head. But yeah, I mean, just some of those like I feel so blessed, like that they put like all of us in front of so many people, and it is pretty incredible to play in front of, that big of a crowd. And, there's a lot of events that I've done where we've incorporated dance into the yoga flow, and those can get pretty crazy as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't have like a specific event that I've done.
Okay.
But there's like a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I hear you on that one. I love the festival vibe. I've been to festivals. I host one kind of thing. I just love the vibe of all the community. Like the community vibe is like, that's my favorite vibe.
It's awesome.
The energy, energy,
For sure.
Just riding the waves,
Heck
the waves. But it seems like the festival scene's kind of like scaling back, and I looked at your tour calendar There's nothing on there for next year. So
like,
are you
updated?
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's not that you're not doing things. It's just that you haven't put it on the website yet.
Yeah, I haven't, man. I haven't updated that in like. This is what not to do as an artist.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, man. I don't think I've updated that in like a couple of years, man.
Bro.
So lazy. Now I gotta do it.
Yeah, now I just got called. Okay, so this is the invitation for Brandon to update the site so we can find him. You know,
yeah. Brandon's like, they know where I'm coming.
Yeah, they already
they know. Wherever I'm going, they know, and the people around there know.
Man, busted.
Are you recording from your studio, Brandon? Is that your studio that you're in right now?
Yeah, this is my studio.
Nice. So is this in your house?
Yeah, this is in my house.
Dude.
Bedroom in my house, you know.
Just converted. And that just goes to show, like, did you I don't know, like whenever I think of like recording music, I always thought like you had to like go to a studio, like there was somewhere, but I guess you could just create it right in your house nowadays, you know?
Yeah, especially now. It's like, I mean, you could do everything, like the recording process, creating the music, mixing, mastering, all of that. Like, you know, I think like when you're self-sufficient, it also allows you to put out more music quicker. You know, you're not relying on somebody else to, you know, I can kind of do it from the start to the end. And then also if I, you know, play my tracks out live, like I'll always kind of try them out, and then I'll hear something and then I'll come back and I can just fix it right there, you know? So yeah, it's like, that's the power of this day and age. Like you can, you know, you don't need a $1 million studio. Like you can do it relatively cheap, you know? And then like, I lost my train of thought. There was something cool I was going to say.
What computer do you use? What computer do you use? Like your main go-to computer?
So I have a Mac Pro Tower that's like 10 years. I think it's like 10 years old.
Still trucking.
Old, dude. Yeah, man, it's still working. Like, I mean, it's a little dicey. It's like, man.
bro, Brandon, you're so right. Update the website, get a tower. Let's go, man. You're going.
But the thing is,
Apple's sponsoring you after this podcast. They're going to send you a whole new setup.
But all my shit is on there. Like it's like really hard to like move that to like the next thing. I think I was watching this like Chromio tutorial, and they had this computer from like 1995. I'm probably exaggerating. It was an old ass computer, like a PC. You know, a Chromio, so you know.
But it's got an
Oregon Trail on it.
Yeah.
Dysentery, bros.
Yeah.
No, watch out! Don't cross the river.
No cross the river. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't believe you just threw out Oregon Trail in the middle of this episode there, Yogi.
Shit, man. Well, I feel like the Yogi Show is going to evolve into Yogi Cribs. Like we want to see cribs of Soul Rising, DJ Taz Rashid, DJ Drez, like with Adrian. We're just we're going to evolve the show into cribs. Like
it's going to happen.
We want to see the setups.
It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, man.
For sure.
And, So where do you see yourself? So obviously you're doing the chill hop EDM vibe now. Do you see yourself branching out into like more other styles of like electronic music? Is there something you aspire to do at all? Yeah,
like maybe some more danceable stuff. I really like the Odessa Bonobo model because they kind of do both. Like you can play their music at Staples Center or whatever. But you can also play it in a yoga class. You know, I think that's what that's kind of what a lot of people want to, like, you know, remember when like Kygo blew up and like some of these more chill artists?
I do.
Because people are just getting, like, their ears are getting tired. Like EDM, you can only listen to so much EDM in your car before like your ears just like can't, at least for me, I can't handle it anymore. Like I get a headache, you know? So I kind of, you know, see myself kind of riding that line of, you know, yoga and also like main stage festival kind of stuff, you know.
I love it.
But who knows, right? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows
where it's gonna go?
Who knows? You might be doing like VR shit, like VR music for I don't know, the next world. You never know like what's gonna happen in the future.
No, you really don't.
You don't. That's so the truth. If I know you've done a lot of collaborations, Brandon. Who if you could collaborate with anybody, I mean anybody, who would it be?
I mean, I've said Odessa like 10 times, so
probably them.
That I would say Odessa.
Yeah, that'd be dope,
okay. I'm sending this
Send
podcast to Odessa.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I have good luck with DMing people. I'm gonna DM Odessa, and we're gonna get you a collab.
Yeah,
we're doing this.
Let's do it.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, even Butters barked for that. Even Butters barked. Butters like, yep. Dog's like,
that
let's
was
go.
Sign. That was a sign. Right there. Absolutely.
Have you ever reached out to them, Brandon?
No, I have not.
We're doing this.
It's happening. That's happening, dude. That's happening. We've done when Yogi Brian's like, I'm gonna message like this person, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure, bro. And then like the next day I see it's like booked. I'm like, okay, all right, Yogi Brian.
We're getting you the collab, man. We're working the magic. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna play it in yoga class too. I'm gonna play that song in yoga class. Happening, manifesting it. December 18th, 2019. Boom.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I love that, man. So give us a little sneak peek. What are you up to creation wise now? Didn't you just put out a new album? Did you just put out a new one?
Yeah, I put out a new album, Serenity. That came out, I don't know, last month maybe. So there's that. I have another album that's already done that I'm like, I had 2 albums done, so I like had to wait. I have to like wait to put the other one out, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I got that. There's another project that's kind of top secret. Like I don't know if I can talk about it, but it involves like some pretty cool stuff. Like
great.
Yeah, I don't think I can say anything.
That's okay. That's all right.
I like top secret
just
stuff.
make sure you DM us when Odessa says yes. Just make sure you hit us up first.
And then the other thing is actually Taz and I are gonna do an album.
Oh yes.
Right.
Heck
yeah. He says what's up. So he's actually gonna come in January, stay at my house. He's gonna sleep in my studio.
Yeah, I believe it. That guy sleep anywhere. He don't care, man.
I don't think he sleeps.
Air mattress. Yeah, I know. Exactly.
I don't think he does sleep.
Yeah. So we're gonna spend a week and just kind of see what happens. Like I've collabed with a lot of like instrumentalists, vocalists. I've never collabed with a producer, you know.
Cool,
and he also plays instruments too, and he obviously understands yoga music. So I think
that's going to be amazing. I'm gonna love
it, dude. That's gonna be sick, man.
Yeah. So we're excited.
He never mentioned that to us, and
no,
that's cool that you got to drop that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, because your remix of Gold Flow was man. Like, oh man, that's just like emotions right there. I just feel that shit. And when I made it to the challenge, the Gold Flow challenge, and when I made that video to it, like I fucking cried like 5 times. Like
I got teary. I got teary,
and Pedro cried too. And it's the music too. It's the music, man.
Wow, man. I really appreciate
the
that,
feels. Everybody out there, listen to that song. We're gonna put it.
Yeah,
we're gonna put it.
We'll link in the show notes. It's probably gonna be like on the. It's probably gonna be one of the songs on the show. On the intro or something.
I'm gonna cry my ass off on this episode.
Let's do it, man.
Soul Rising was so great.
Yeah. It's like that's my favorite type of music. Is like I gotta feel some kind of emotion from it. Otherwise, it just feels like nothing. It just feels empty to me. So yeah. It's all about that. It's all about the feels.
Yeah, I felt the feels. Like that rise in the tempo, or not tempo, but just the sound too. I was like, I feel it.
Yeah.
Perfecto, my friends.
Fucking inspired.
Yeah, and that one came like he had asked me to do it, and I was kind of busy at the time, so I kind of said like, I don't think I can do it. But send me the stems anyway. And then it was just like one day I was like, I was just like, I have to try something, like, and it just came out like super quick. I think I had that done in like a day. It was like
awesome.
Yeah, it was like
natural.
One of the easiest things for me to create because it was just so in the flow, you know.
Yeah.
So
back into that flow state.
Millions of tears out there. Millions of tears coming too. Listen to that song. You'll be inspired. You'll probably start making yoga memes. I don't know. You will be inspired. Don't do it in Pigeon. Don't do it in pigeon pose.
No.
Get tissues if you're gonna go in pigeon with that song. It's great.
Yeah, man. No hip openers.
No, man. I think this is the perfect segue into the lighten up round.
Yeah.
I think this is like the perfect segue.
What is this?
All right. So the Brandon doesn't know. Just like he just dropped that about Taz and his collab, we're gonna drop the lighten up round on Brandon. So it's a quick little, just fun little questions that Yogi, Brian, and I usually write a couple. Brian just does it off the top of his head.
Off the top.
Okay.
He's super wild card. They're just fun little questions.
Okay.
And we'll go with number one. This is good. This kind of, I'm just gonna say the question. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Who could put together a better DJ set for a yoga class? DJ Han from Linkin Park or Paris Hilton?
I mean, definitely not Paris Hilton. I don't know anything about DJ Han.
You don't know the DJ from Linkin Park?
No, I mean I do, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't really.
You don't know anything about it, but it's not Paris Hilton.
About him. No.
But it's not Paris Hilton. That's the reaction we were looking for.
That's exactly what we wanted here.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we wanted.
Come on.
Okay, Brian, hit him.
All right. Who makes a better DJ? Just all around, who makes a better DJ? Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
Right?
Depends on the type of music. Yoga music, Luke Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
Dubstep, Darth Vader.
Oh, dude, that's
so true.
Dubstep,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I would.
Yeah.
He would pack stadiums. Darth Vader, dubstep.
Absolutely.
But, Luke Skywalker too. Great yoga music, I bet.
Yeah.
Love it, man.
Tough choice.
All right, here we go. Who could put out a better EDM trance record? MC Yogi or Drez?
I would say MC Yogi. Because
Ooh,
Drez is more. I don't want to get in trouble for this.
No.
You won't.
No knock to either of them.
I would just say Drez like really, like he thrives on like that like hip hop mid tempo. Like that's his,
I love Drez class,
jam,
man.
and he's like the best at that.
The best.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
MC Yogi's got kind of the more like up tempo, tracks, danceable, whatever. Like Drez's stuff is danceable too. And I'm not saying Drez can't do that, but I would say MC Yogi.
It's so fun, man. I took we both been to Drez's class when him and Marty do the thing. Man, like magic. Magic.
Dope. Yeah, they're amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. Good vibes for sure.
For sure.
All right, Brian, go ahead.
All right. Which dinosaur would make a better DJ for, let's see, I would just say like a good wedding DJ, right? A good wedding DJ. And they're going to be two very, very, very ruthless dinosaurs. So we got the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Okay.
Or the Velociraptor. Like which one of those two would like give the best wedding DJ ceremony?
Well, the problem for the T-Rex is the arms are too small. No, you can't DJ. Come on. I don't know what a Velociraptor, but I would assume they're more like turntable level. Like I don't think the T-Rex is made to be a DJ.
Dude, I love that.
Maybe so like good. A lead singer in like a metal band.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
DJ. Yeah.
Like a screamo band.
Yeah. Screamo, emo, post-hardcore. There you go.
Exactly.
Gosh, I'd go to that concert.
I don't know what that is, but yeah, it sounds like that.
Oh, good, man. All right, last one, man. Where would you rather DJ a set? Where would you rather shut it down? Close this festival? EDC or Tomorrowland?
I don't really know the difference, man.
Maybe Belgium or Las Vegas. Maybe that's the difference.
I would say EDC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be dope, man.
Yeah. I would say EDC.
Dope. Yeah.
I wouldn't be jet lagged, just
just drive over. Yeah.
Drive over.
Drive over.
Easier.
We need tickets though. We need tickets. Can we get confirmation on the show?
Dude,
that if EDC, awesome.
For sure.
Signed, sealed, signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah.
We'll meme you, whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Man, Brandon, this has been so much fun, man. I'm so grateful that we were able to collab, connect, and make this conversation happen. And I know our listeners, Scott, are going to get some value and some insight. If you have not checked out Soul Rising, I don't know where you're living. You've probably never been to a yoga class, so you need to go to a yoga class because you've definitely heard it on the playlist because he's amazing. So
yes,
for sure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. This has been so fun. Yogi Brian, the T-Rex, the answer to the T-Rex question, man. Fucking amazing.
So good. So good. Yeah. Appreciate you coming on the show, Brandon.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Love the music. Everybody out there, like, go listen to Soul Rising, wherever you listen to music, Apple, Spotify, like wherever you listen to music, check out Soul Rising. You're going to love it.
Put it on, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, man. We're going to wrap it up for the night. Appreciate you, brother. We're signing off. Namaste, friends.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Yogi Show. Yogi Brian and I had an absolute blast chatting with Soul Rising. Brandon was so fun. You need to add him to your playlist. You need to check out everything he's got going on. Yes, he doesn't have tour dates on his website, but he is touring and he is coming to an area near you in 2020. So check out soulrising.com for everything on him and what he's got going on in the new year. This is the last episode of 2019. This ride has been amazing. The journey started way back in July. Even before that, we were working on it, putting it out there, putting in the inner work to make it become what it is today. So thank you for all of your support on The Yogi Show. We appreciate you so much. Check out theyogishow.com for all of the links and information on how to connect with Brian and I. We appreciate all of your support. We will see you in the new year. Namaste.